All right, guys, today we're going to talk about inverted guard and how we can utilize our wall pads or any kind of wall surface to improve our comfort level while inverting. So this is going to help us understand the basic concepts of getting inverted, staying inverted, and ultimately keeping ourselves safe while inverted and not risking a high level of threat to our neck or our back, creating damaging pressure on our spine. The goal is to elongate our spine and stay mobile while inverted. The goal of today's video is to show you guys how to not only get inverted, but how to stay inverted and how to keep yourself safe while being inverted. We'll head to the wall and start with a really basic inversion drill, talking about how I keep myself flat on my back and make that inversion happen. Take a look. Okay, so our first drill is gonna be a baby inversion, or like a half inversion, right? We're gonna work on keeping our ears off the mat by keeping the back of our head flat on the mat, working through a half of an inversion, ending up in a forward roll and playing from there. This is gonna be our most basic way to learn how to play inverted guard and keep our neck safe the whole time. The first thing we do is put our feet on the mat, feet on the wall. Right, we're playing guard here. We have a foot on both sides of the hips. All we're gonna do is leg drag ourselves by stepping across. We're gonna cross our feet. My hands are gonna reach to the wall. My head stays off the mat. I'm sitting flat on my turtle shell. I turn, reach my hands underneath, my feet come off the wall, and I sit up, okay? So it's really important we understand that turtle shell motion, right? We don't want to get up on our edge here. And that's really the most common misconception with inverted guard. Everyone tries to come under this way. Their face comes to the mat, and they end up face planting, and they can't make that inversion work. So as we set this up, my hands are ready to go. I'm looking to keep my hands in this orientation, my legs crossed. I start turning myself towards the wall, and I sit up. All right? We can now take that all the way around. Depending on our comfort level with our hips and our hamstrings, I start turning the corner, start coming through, and I make a full rotation. Now, keep in mind, that whole rotation, my head is off the mat. I'm never putting my head down. There's no pressure on my chin to my chest. I always pretend like I can have a tennis ball sitting right here if I wanted to, and I'm not gonna squish that tennis ball, okay? So keep that space open the whole time. We cross our legs, our arms make this big kind of ship's wheel motion. We spin our way through, kind of like we're breakdancing, right? So make sure we get nice and loose, get comfortable. Feeling that motion. Now, as we get more and more comfortable with that position, we start working on keeping our feet closer to the wall. The closer I have my feet to the wall, the more realistic this position is going to be. So, my feet are on the wall, I cross them, big ship's wheel, I turn. If I can keep my toes on the wall, now we're getting more and more closer to reality. The goal here is going to be to keep our feet on the wall, flat on the wall, and work our way down the wall. The lower we can, the better. So, medium, kind of like a standing opponent right now. A standing opponent is pretty easy to invert on. So, I cross, my feet are on the wall, my head's off the mat still, and I make that nice inversion. My head never touched the mat, my chin never clamped to my chest, and my ears never looked to the mat, right? My ears are staying totally neutral, looking at the ceiling the entire time. Once I feel comfortable there, I change that level a little bit more. I'm pretending like that opponent now is squishing into me. So my legs become more compressed into me. I don't have the ability to elevate my feet from where they are right now. So my feet are glued to the wall pad. I make that position change. I start inverting through. My neck is still safe the whole time. The one real benefit of having a wall pad is I pretend that my wall pad is my opponent, okay? A wall pad is 2 feet wide. Most of my opponents are about 2 feet wide. So let's pretend like this is the man in front of me. I keep my feet aligned on the seams. The seams represent hips and shoulders. So I'm right on the seams here. Now if I make my inversion travel down the mat, now my opponent is totally past my guard. So I always try to think about where my body is in relation to a standing or a kneeling opponent. So in this case, my wall pad is my standing or kneeling opponent. So I find my opponent here, My feet are placed on hips/shoulders. I drag across, I cross my legs, still maintaining that position of guard. If the person pressures down with a crossed leg, we're still in a guard, okay? If I were to move my feet both to one side, he's past my guard this direction. Past my guard this direction. So, we step, we circle under, making sure I'm staying exactly in front of my opponent the entire time. That's gonna keep our inverted guard practice based in reality. Once we feel super comfortable with that motion, I start making it lower and lower and lower and try to compress my legs more to the ground, okay? That's really gonna make it feel more like I have somebody on top of me. I utilize my foot pressure into the mats to be sticky so my feet aren't naturally elevating up. So the huge issue here is gonna be, again, talking about our hamstring flexibility and our hip flexibility. Occasionally we'll have very loose hamstrings that allow us to have a straight leg, but our hips are too tight to allow that straight leg to come to our chest. So making sure we're doing good stretches to open up those hips and relax those hamstrings. We're playing guard now. We cross our legs. We're trying to get our feet all the way down as low as we possibly can. But look, I still have this tennis ball here. I still have the ability to keep my chin off my chest. I can still talk normally, right? So there's no pressure on my neck. I have a low back, extension here. That's kind of unavoidable. The more I have a looser hamstring, the more I can drop my hips to the mat and allow that back to become even more safe. From here, we're looking just to make that spin back to where we came from. And we're playing with this guard back and forth. Always keeping it based on reality by having an opponent in front of us. Once we feel comfortable, I like to just get kind of loose and just spin a little bit. Right? I think one of the most important skills we learn in jiu-jitsu is how to spin flat on our back. It's going to help us for triangles and arm bars or creating angles from many places. So if we can get used to spinning on our back and creating less surface area, allowing us to spin quickly, then all of our movements from guard are going to be easier. So when we step across, we start getting our guard going, our inverted guard going, we spin through, and we're just going to play. Getting really comfortable, keeping our neck safe, keeping our core engaged, and being able to make that spin happen. That's pretty awesome. So, give it a try, guys. Let me know what you think. There's a lot of complications with playing inverted guard, but I think it's an important skill for all of us to learn, and it's super fun to learn. It helps us with our guard retention. Even if we use inverted guard in a very brief moment just to recover guard, it's a great way to shortcut the long leg drag back to our guard and play safely from there. Give it a shot, guys. Let me know what you think. If it's not working, shoot me a message, comment, let me know why it fails and I'll fix it. I can always do better. See you next time. Later.